So in 4th grade, I was given a creative writing assignment. Write about anything you want, my teacher told me. Now, me, myself, I've never been a particularly savvy writer or someone who's even really enjoyed writing. But this piece is one I remember. It was one I was proud of. I poured hours of work into writing this piece, even outside of school. On the day it came to turn it in, I turned in the piece with complete satisfaction and confidence. It was perfect. However, that was all before I got my grade back. Upon receiving my grade, I realized that I'd scored markedly lower than what I'd expected to receive. Disappointed and even more confused as to what went wrong, I looked at the rubric my teacher had attached at the back. Her comments confused me at first. You see, I'd been so focused and so involved in writing this piece that I'd forgotten a key aspect of the writing process. Now let me take a step back. My story was about a main character. For the purposes of this talk, I'll name him Jerry. Jerry is a little kid in his room who shrinks to the size of a quarter and goes on adventures in his room. Now, for a 4th grader, that sounds like a fantasy, but my teacher's comments serve to disagree. Dev, I enjoyed reading your piece, my teacher wrote in the comments, but there's no real plot. Maybe have his dog come in and try to eat him or something. I don't know. The comments confused me at first, so they lingered in my mind. See, today, when it comes to storytelling, an interesting plot is vital to keeping your reader captivated. That is the essence of a true great plot, and we see it in all works of literature, in all works of film around us. Think about Batman, who has Robin. You can think of Harry Potter, has Voldemort. Tom has Jerry, and in SpongeBob, you can never forget Plankton. All of these great works, yes, they have their protagonists, but possibly even more important are their antagonists who drive that plot forward and keep the story moving. However, my 9-year-old self had somehow managed to overlook this seemingly crucial part of a story. This interesting plot needed to captivate my reader. So what is this magical plot then that manages to make every single story amazing? Well, simply put, a plot is a series of events, or the main events in a work of film, art, or literature. That's what dictionary.com said, at least. And according to dictionary.com then, my story did have a plot. I mean, Jerry goes on all sorts of adventures in my story. He drives around in his monster truck. He goes skydiving off of his toy airplane. It was fun, yet my teacher had still written no plot. But it truly wasn't that there wasn't a plot, but there wasn't one captivating enough to read. And this goes beyond just fictional stories. In today's world, we're able to share our true stories, stories of daily life, with relative ease. Whether it be social media, websites, blogs, and more, we're always connected with the people around us. And for that reason, we're always looking for that spike, that next best thing to share with everyone else. Think of the job of every reporter, of every headliner. It's their job to come up with these stories and share them on an international scale. However, in today's news, we find that they streamline these spikes, these next best things, in a negative limelight and put that on a much larger scale. To accrue views and to keep their readers engaged, it's always much more easier to have a negative story. Now, one important part of a negative story are the breaking news headlines. If you look at the news today, you'll see breaking news in front of every single title you've ever seen. At this point, it's nothing more than hyperbole. Recently, I was on a news website, and I won't say which one, but I was looking at the top news section, and in between a post about the recent Venezuelan blackouts and the conviction of a mobster, there was a post. And the post read, "Many of us are walking our dogs wrong. Here's a better way to do it." Now, don't get me wrong, I love dogs, but it's not exactly the first thing I think of when it comes to breaking news. And of course, some breaking news headlines really are breaking news. But when it comes to the majority, they're usually stories that pass over in a couple of days without a real tangible effect on the lives of the majority. And as this happens more and more frequently, we see it makes a difference in our own perceptions. A study done by Pew's research group found that nearly 41% of Americans believe that life today is worse than it was 50 years prior. In comparison, only 37% believe that life today is truly better than it was 50 years ago. Well, we know that technology, medicine, science, security, safety, and so much more have been revolutionized. have been improved drastically over the past 50 years. So then why is there such an overwhelming proportion of people who disagree? Well, interestingly, the study found that those who viewed their economies, their policies, and their politics in their own countries as good, as healthy, and stable were more likely to agree that life today is better. And unfortunately, we live in a news climate where we don't get that positive view. Instead, the news is usually focused on the negative. And this is how it works on a macro scale. But on a micro scale, when we even look at bad decisions of others, it usually brings a negative impact on us. But now, not all the blame can be placed on the storyteller. Think of a time when you viewed something unexpected in your life or something interesting that happened. It could be as simple as seeing a car accident on the highway. I know that that gets my mom or my dad to slow down and peer out the window to see what went wrong, knowing that it's not going to help, knowing that it's not going to have a single impact on us, maybe except cause a couple road blockages and some traffic. So I recently also got my license, and that means I'm driving, and my parents could not be more pleased, of course. And so I was driving just outside this very building, and I saw two police cars parked out front with frantic headlights blaring. And so as I peered out the window when I was driving, I saw a woman clutching her steering wheel, and she had her head held back in devastation. Thank God that isn't me, I texted my friend as I continued driving. I'm kidding, of course, Mom and Dad. But this need to see the mishaps in the humdrum of everyday life is what makes these stories more interesting. Of course, as humans, it's our natural tendency to want to peek our heads into these types of things, to see what's really going on. And this can be seen in our modern form of storytelling, gossip. Now, we all gossip. We all know it's bad, it's immoral, it's wrong. We've all been taught that. However, it's something that we still continue to do, even though we may not realize it. In a study by the University of Amsterdam, they found that 90% of all work and office-related conversations classified as some type of gossip. Gossip truly, at its most humane characteristic, is how we connect, is how we bond with other people. It's how we make our identity as a part of the group. But then how can gossip be so bad? It really is a serious question because gossip has become so stigmatized in our society. So when we look at that highway story, when we look at the highway, the accident on the highway, we look at it with the intention to share that story. Just us in gossip, when we're looking at people make bad decisions, we do it with the intention to share that story once again. The mechanics are the same, even though it may not seem like it. So now I want you to forget every negative connotation you've heard about gossip. Not to justify it, but to understand what we get out of it. Why do we love it? Because truly gossip at its core is how we interact with others. Because we all do make bad decisions. It's just human. It's what we do. But why are we so inclined to hear about those bad decisions of others? Why are those the ones that we find humor, interest, and excitement in? Recently, a friend of mine at a different high school witnessed a fist fight not even like 5 lunch tables away from him. When all my friends found out, we all hounded him, asking about the details of what happened. It's just natural human tendency. It doesn't have any effect on me, yet I still wanted to know. And even more importantly, after we hear about those bad decisions, we want to answer with the follow-up question. What happened next? What was the consequence? What was the conclusion of that action? And if you have siblings, then you know what I'm talking about. I have a little sister, and I'll tell you, I've never seen her grin wider than when she hears me getting chewed out by my parents. The moment she hears that sinister, "Dev," by my parents, you'll hear her footsteps booming down the stairs, straight to where I am, my execution site, stopping only short to make sure that she's not seen in the process. And then as soon as I'm done with my ordeal, like a fly that just won't get out of my face, "Dev, what happened? Are you in trouble? What did you do? Tell me what happened." Once again, that natural consequence, that natural action, we're lured to it. It's a natural human tendency to do so. So it begs us to now ask the question, are we wrong in wanting to hear about the wrong of others? Well, it's more of a perspective question, really. Think about when the subject is you, when the eyes are pointed at you. when the fingers are pointed at you. It becomes much more difficult to listen to that same story. That excitement of that action-consequence relationship that you once found so much appeal in disappears. So how do we change our thinking? Well, there are three major mindsets that we can find ourselves in when thinking about mistakes, when thinking about the actions of others. The first step, the first stage, is ignorance. Ignorance is bliss, right? So whether it be denial, whether it be coming up with excuses, we find it easier to just avoid the consequences, to come to terms with our actions. We don't really think about it. And in this stage, there is no change in behavior, no change in thought, no change in routine after you make that action. The second stage, the stage that many of us find ourselves in, is owning up to our actions, ownership. It comes with a level of accountability. Understanding that that mistake that you made was your fault and assigning that blame is a difficult task to achieve. It requires humility. It requires mindfulness. However, ownership just treads the line of where we should be. Because in ownership, it's still done on a personal level. Yes, you know that you made a mistake, and yes, you own up to it, but it's nothing more as a personal note tucked away in the back of our heads for next time. It doesn't change our perspective on the mistakes of others, and instead, it's meant to give us temporary peace for a decision made in the moment. So yes, there may be some change in behavior, but thought and routine relatively remains the same. Third and final stage, possibly the most difficult, is being able to share your shortcomings. Having the confidence to share your own shortcomings and your own mistakes is probably the most difficult thing that you can do. True acceptance isn't just taking ownership of your mistakes, but making them a part of who you are. Being able to share those embarrassing moments, those I can't believe I did that moments, with the confidence that you've grown and you've learned from that, requires a level of understanding and a level of humility we all can still learn from. Actions themselves are reversible for the most part. Yes, we make bad decisions. It's natural. And then the consequences are inevitable. But the growth and learning that comes from it is valuable. Imagine a world in which we all were able to comfortably share our own mistakes. A platform to learn, to share in the excitement of gossip that we're all hardwired to love, without the criticism and the judgment to follow. Now let's take a step back, all the way back to my 9-year-old self's plotless story. When I was writing that story, I had the same intention as any good reporter or headliner. I wanted to captivate my audience. But I was missing something. I was missing that problem. Not just for the sake of having a problem, but one worth overcoming, one worth learning from and growing from. As of now, we continue to focus on our mistakes as judgments. We judge rather than learn. We have to learn how to share our mistakes. It's as simple as that. And it's quite fun to look back on our mistakes, to reminisce on the past. It makes us wiser, it makes us bolder, and it makes us more mindful of our own decisions. This is the stage we all need to be at, stage 3. The impact of our bad decisions changed from embarrassment and ashamed to growth, to learning, and to acceptance. So yes, read the top headlines and continue to look out at that car accident on the highway. We're naturally inclined to do so. But at the same time, learn to embrace your own mistakes. Learn to embrace the mistakes of others, because bad decisions truly are a part of life. It's how we learn, it's how we grow. It's how we share, and it's how we laugh. It's what keeps us alert, and it's what keeps us talking. And most importantly, bad decisions are what always make for a great story. Thank you. Now, before I officially end, I decided that I should take my own advice and share something that I might later regret sharing. So yesterday, I was with my dad, and he was looking through some old photos and videos, and he found a video of me when I was in maybe about 7, 8 years old, and I had gotten a little camcorder for my birthday, and so I decided to give a small house tour. Now, I can't show the entire clip, but these are a few of the funny clips that I found. So I hope this encourages you to go out and share your own mistakes, learn from your own mistakes, and grow from your own mistakes. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dev, and we're here. We're going to see my room and all around. We hope you have a nice time, thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day. This is Dale, thank you. Okay, so first we're going to see my sister. Actually, we're not going to do that. This is the afternoon, as you know. Well, I don't think you will know because I think it'll be coming a different time. But I guess so. Okay? So pay close attention. Here we go, okay? Okay? Thank you. As you can see, this was when me, my father, we went in a helicopter. If you want to see us, here you go. Okay, this is the playroom, as you can see. Okay, here you go. Okay, people, we hope you had a nice day today. We hope you come back later on, or we hope you would come here again. Thank you. Okay, and enjoy the rest of your day. We hope you have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you. We're done now. Thank you.